Okay, for the pre-algebra class, now we're doing lesson 31 and adding integers and collecting like terms. Okay, lesson 31, adding integers and collecting like terms. All right, so we're going to go down to the new concept section. All right, and it's on page 203. And basically, let's read this. It says, recall that integers include the counting numbers, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the opposites of those counting numbers, so using negatives, and 0. Okay, in this lesson we'll show examples of how to add these. We see integers on thermometers. On the Celsius scale, 0 degrees marks the freezing temperature of water. Negative numbers indicate temperatures below freezing. Positive numbers indicate temperatures above freezing. Okay? All right, so let's go to example 1 on the next page. This is page 204. Example 1 says, if the temperature in the morning is negative 4 degrees but increases 10 degrees by noon, then what is the noontime temperature? Okay, so let's go here. Now, in terms of temperature, all of these are basically a number line. All right, if you remember correctly, a number line, you can draw it here. All right, and in the center is 0. These are your negative numbers, so like -1, -2, -3, -4. Okay, and these are your positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's go up to 6. Okay, so if it starts at -4, so we'll start here, but increases 10 degrees. Okay, but you don't go up to 10. What it means is you're going up 10 degrees. So you would go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What is the noontime temperature? Well, it is 6 degrees. Let's check and see if I'm right. Okay, so sure enough, it is 6 degrees, positive 6. What does that look like? Well, it looks like this. So we have -4 plus 10 is equal to 6. All right. Remember, I like the terms of think in terms of money. So -4 is owing someone 4 reals. You then get 10 reals. Okay. You would pay that person back, and then you're left with 6 reals. Okay. That's the first example. Let's look at. Okay, let's look at the second example. Sam has no money and owes a friend $5. If Sam earns $15 washing cars, then he can repay his friend and have money left over. Write an equation for this situation and find out how much money Sam has after he repays his friend. Okay, so if he owes someone money, he owes his friend $5. That would be -5. All right, he earns $15. So I'd be earning $15. It's positive 15. Okay, how much money does he have left over? So he has to pay that money back. So he pays back the 5. All right. Another way to do it is think in terms of like chips at a poker table. So like, let's say these are the negative, or you owe someone money, and then you're able to gain money. Okay, and each one of these worth 1. All right, so we have 5 negatives. Okay, and then we have 15 positives. Right, positive with a plus, negative with a minus. All right. Okay, and when you have a positive and negative together, they cross each other out, meaning 0, right? So after I cross those out, how many of the positives are left? Okay, add those up, and it would be 10. Okay, 10 positive 10. All right, check if I got it right, and sure enough, I did. Okay, they're using a number line here. We can show the addition of integers on a number line. We start at 0. Positive integers are indicated by arrows to the right and negative to the left. Here's an example. So -3, you start here at -3. You're adding 5. Adding +5, you go up to +2. Here we start at +3. We're adding a -5. So you're adding the -5. You go backwards 5. You go to -2. Last one. You're at -5. You're adding another negative. That's why you go to -8. Okay? All right, let's look at example 3 here. All right? So some to look at example 3 to talk through here. Select all. Cut this. Okay? So first one, -6 plus a +2. So you're starting off with a debt, -6. They put them in parentheses just to keep them organized. Okay, plus a +2. So -6, you have a debt of 6. Then you gain 2 reals or whatever. What are you going to do? You have to pay the 2 to the person, and now you still owe them 4 reals. Okay, start with 6 reals in your pocket. Then we're adding a debt, or you're adding that you owe someone 2. So you have to pay those 2, and you still have 4 left. Here we have -6, so you have a debt of 6 plus another debt, so even more debt. And what do? You add the 2 debts together. It would be -8. Here you have a -6, which is a debt of 6. You get 6 reals, so what are you going to do? You pay all that money back, leaving you with nothing. Okay, check my answers, make sure they're right. Okay, so recall that the opposite of a number is called an additive inverse. We can change any subtraction problem into an addition problem by adding the opposite of the subrahand. For example, instead of subtracting 2 and 6, we can add -2 plus 6. Okay? All right, so for example, 6 minus 2 is 4. It's the same thing as 6 plus -2 is equal to 4. Okay, same thing. All right. Okay, very good. All right, second part of this was collecting like terms. Collecting like terms is basically, okay, it's an algebraic term. It's an expression that includes a positive or negative number and may include one or more variables. Here are examples of terms. So a term is just 3y by itself, x by itself, okay? Negative w squared, 3x squared y, -2, okay? Each of these has a certain part, all right? For example, the coefficient of 3y is 3. Okay, when you talk about coefficient, that's the big number in front. All right, the numerical coefficient of x is 1. So if you just have x, even though you don't see it, there's a 1 in front of it. Negative w squared is -1. Okay, the coefficient of 3x squared y is 3, the big number in front. Okay, if there is no variables, then that is just a constant. Okay, so -2, that would be a constant. Okay, so all right, let's look at this one. So we have edit, select all, edit. Okay, so we're going to identify the numerical coefficient. That's what we're identifying, the coefficient. So that's there we go. We're identifying the coefficient. That's very important. So that's basically the big number in front. What's the big number in front of the first one? A squared b. Well, coefficient is 1. You don't see it, but if there's just variables there, the coefficient is 1. What's that coefficient of that one? 3. What's the coefficient of that one? -1, the big number in front. Okay, there you go. Okay, like terms have identical variables, including exponents. That's important. So it's the same variable and the same exponent. All right. So like terms, here, x and a y, and just because it's y and x, that's okay. Same variables, x and y, same exponents, which in these cases 1 for each of these. Unlike terms, we have an xy here, we have an xy, but there's an x squared. That means they are not alike. All right. Okay, so example 5. Simplify this expression by collecting all like terms. Okay, so we have 3x. All right. Oh, sorry. Let's go back. Okay, 3x. So do we have any other x's out there? 3x. Yes, you do. 2, no. but you have a negative x. That's fine. Remember, it's just the same variable, and the same exponent. So it's x to the 1 power. So we can go ahead and do that. So 3 minus, remember you don't see it, but there's a 1 there. You would subtract that. 3 minus 1 is 2x. Okay. 2, is there a like term with 2? Absolutely. That coefficient there, the constant there, 3. So 2 plus 3 is 5. So we simplified that term, 2x plus 5. Check the answer. Let's see if we got right. 2x plus 5. Okay, that was example 5. All right, example 6. Let's look at example 6. All right. Cut. Okay, so perimeter of this rectangle. Remember, perimeter is the distance around, so we would add up all around. So let's 3 plus 2x plus, remember with a rectangle, if one side is 3, the opposite side is the same. So that was 3, and then another 2x. So we add it up. 3 plus 3 is 6. Add the x's together. 2x plus 2x is 4x. So that's the perimeter. You can't combine a 6 and a 4x. Okay, same thing, 4x plus 6. All right, now you are to do the practice set. Okay, practice set, you need to do A through N. Okay, A through N. A through N on page 207, lesson 31. I gave you the made copies of the sheets. A through N, and it just is adding integers. Make sure you do it without a calculator. You can check with a calculator, but make sure you do it without a calculator. And the collect like terms. Okay, good luck.